have something quite special to show you. I've been lucky enough to get my hands on a copy of The Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall, a book written in 1928 by a man quite familiar in the occult and secret societies, who wrote it when he was only 27. This edition was, it's the Golden Anniversary edition, printed in 1975, and this particular printing is from 1979, and the third printing of that edition. As you can see, the book is quite large. It comes in at a whopping 48 centimeters by 31 centimeters. You can see it's a hardcover, title down the spine there, also a title here. The full title is An Encyclopedic Outline of Masonic, Hermetic, Qabbalistic, and Rosicrucian Philosophy by Manly P. Hall. Okay, well, let's take a closer look inside the book. About the author. Manly Palmer Hall was born on March 18, 1901, and he died on August 29, 1990. He was a Canadian-born author, lecturer, astrologer, and mystic. He is best known for his 1928 work, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. Over his 70-year career, he gave thousands of lectures, including 2 at Carnegie Hall, and published over 150 volumes. In 1934, he founded the Philosophical Research Society in Los Angeles, which he dedicated to the, quote, truth seekers of all time, end quote, with a research library, lecture hall, and publishing house. About the Secret Teachings of All Ages, whose original cost of publication in 1928 was estimated to be $150,000, although the price of individual copies varied. After The Secret Teachings of All Ages was published, Hall went from being just another earnest young preacher in the city of Los Angeles to becoming an icon of the increasingly influential metaphysical movement sweeping the country in the 1920s. According to a commentator, his book challenged assumptions about society's spiritual roots and made people look at them in new ways. As one writer puts it, the result was a gorgeous dreamlike book of mysterious symbols, concise essays, and colourful renderings of mythical beasts rising out of the sea, and angelic beings with lions' heads, presiding over somber initiation rites in torchlit temples of ancestral civilizations that had mastered latent powers beyond the reach of modern man. In 1988, Hall himself wrote, quote, "The greatest knowledge of all time should be available to the 20th century, not only in 1-shilling editions of the Bond Library in small type and shabby binding, but in a book that would be a monument, not merely a coffin." End quote. There's a passage in the introduction of this book that I quite like. It says, "In this age, the word philosophy has little meaning unless accompanied by some other qualifying term. The body of philosophy has been broken up into numerous isms, more or less antagonistic, which have become so concerned with the effort to disprove each other's fallacies that the sublimer issues of divine order and human destiny have suffered deplorable neglect. The ideal function of philosophy is to serve as the stabilizing influence in human thought. By virtue of its intrinsic nature, it should prevent man from ever establishing unreasonable codes of life. Philosophers themselves, however, have frustrated the ends of philosophy by exceeding in their wool-gathering those untrained minds whom they have supposed to lead in the straight and narrow path of rational thinking." Okay, so let's open her up. Here we are, the title. Being an interpretation of the secret teachings concealed within the rituals, allegories, and mysteries of all ages. See the Golden Anniversary edition, printed by the Philosophical Research Society Incorporated, Los Angeles, California. There's the date, 1975 edition, third printing, 1979. Preface by Manly P. Hall. The Golden Anniversary Edition. Now here's the first image plate. Gives you an idea of the size and quality. Prince Ragosi of Transylvania. The title again. Illustrations by J. Augustus Knapp. Manly P. Hall. Insignia. It's in 1928. This book is dedicated to the rational soul of the world. Preface. Table of contents. You can see it covers such topics as ancient mysteries and secret societies, Atlantis and the gods of antiquity, the sun, a universal deity, the zodiac and its signs, Pythagorean mathematics, list of all the colour plates, and all the illustrations within the text. Here's another colour plate which is quite interesting. Group of the world religions. At the left of the plate stands Muhammad, holding aloft pages from the Quran, his left foot upon an image which he has overthrown. Behind Muhammad, the celestial bull, signifying the constellations of Taurus, opens the egg of the year with his horns. And the lower right is a bas-relief of the Persian sun god, Mithras, in an attitude signifying the conquest of the sun over the celestial bull at the ancient vernal equinox. In the centre stands the high priest of Israel, his right arm encircling the base of seven-branched candlestick, the mosaic symbol of the planetary governors of the world. To his right is the statue of the golden calf, and to his left, the robed figures of the Greek mystics bearing a tripod, which burns the sacrificial fire. Behind the bull, Apis, crowned with the lunar globe, the father Nile, bearing the horn of plenty and pouring the waters of his life from his urn, loom the pyramids. The great Egyptian temples of initiation. In the clouds at the left of the seated figure of Jupiter Ammon, brandishing a flame thunderbolt, and horn to signify that the partakes of the attributes of the zodiacal ram. In the heavens appears a mystery of the apocalypse. The four creatures of Ezekiel's vision surround an altar, upon which the book of the seven seals and the Lamb of God. At the upper left is a band of the zodiac. The constellations Taurus, Aries and Pisces represent the stellar influences which, according to the ancients, of descending upon the earth, are responsible for the establishment of the religions and the philosophical institutions herein set forth. So this image really gives you an idea of what's in store for you. Sort of a summary of all religions and how they're related to one another, and the sort of the real inner truth that's underpinning all of them. And here are the example of the image within the text. This is Babbitt's atom, an early depiction of what an atom may look like. Now I'm just sort of going to skip through and show you some images and some of the text. Here we have Mithra in the form of the leondrocephalic Kronos. The ancient mysteries and secret societies, which have influenced modern Masonic symbolism. This picture is an initiation ceremony in the Eleusinian mysteries. The candidate and his age initiator are here shown standing on the brink of a chasm dividing the world of the living from that of the dead. Here we have Hermes standing upon the back of a typhon. Hermes, as the personification of the universal wisdom, is here depicted with his face upon the back of a typhon. Isis, the Virgin of the World. Well, this picture is the satanic Isis. I, Isis, am all that has been, that is or shall be, no more than hath ever me unveiled. The fruit which I have brought forth is the sun. So symbolic. The sun, a universal deity. Here we have the picture, celestial version with sun god in her arms. The sun god being Jesus, I guess. What do we have here? The contents of the zodiacal egg. In the midst of the cosmos stands the fiery altar of divinity. It's the most familiar analogue being the life germ in an egg. The zodiac and its signs. Chart showing the relationship between the human body and the exterior universe. The life and philosophy of Pythagoras. We have something on plants, flowers, fruits and trees. Now this picture is the Yggdrasil tree, the tree of the Knights of the Round Table. Ceremonial magic and sorcery. Now this picture, the invocation of Mephistopheles. Mephistopheles, the most notorious of the spirits of evil, is closely identified with the exploits of Dr. Faust. Hermetic, pharmacology, chemistry and therapeutics. Also something to note is the lovely letters that start off each chapter. Quite detailed. Now what do we have here? The consummation of the magnum opus. Fundamentals of Kabbalic cosmology. The Grand Man of Zohar. Eliphas Levi thus described the great prototypal man. That synthesis of the world, formulated by the human figure, ascended slowly and emerged from water, like the sun in its rising. The tree of the Sephiroth. Oh, we have the fold out. Now this is the Grand Rosicrucian alchemical formula. Interesting. These look like some zodiac symbols. Parsifal and the Holy Grail. Mystic Christianity. Something most Christians, I'm sure, overlook. The true story of the life of Jesus of Nazareth has never been unfolded to the world, either in the accepted Gospels or in the Apocrypha, although a few stray hints may be found in some of the commentaries written by the ancient fathers. The facts concerning his identity, his mission are among the priceless mysteries preserved to this day in a secret brethren to a few of the Knights Templars who were initiated into a cana of the Drusus, Nazarenes, Essenes, Joanites, and other sects still inhabiting the remote, inaccessible fastness of the Holy Land. Part of the strange story was told. Looks like a index. What a tome. Well, there you go. The Secret Teaching of All Ages. Now, of course, I didn't read through the entire book because that would take too long, but I hope this video gave you just an idea of what the book looks like. If you were a fan of this book or mainly behold in general and aren't lucky enough to have a copy of this, of the hardcover and golden edition, or any large version of this book, large print version, I hope I was able to show you what it looks like and the quality of the text and the images inside. Well, there you go. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.